It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Stephen Pearcy from his latest release just called Smash, and it's called I Know I'm Crazy. And I'm going to go see Stephen Pearcy next Friday, or actually this coming Friday.
All right.
He's playing at the Arcadia Theater, rather, out in St. Charles, Illinois, and I am Stephen's guest.
Look at you. Mr. Hobnobber.
Yeah, so I'm going to go see Steven and see him in a solo band, and then I'll see Ratt in April at M3.
That'll be fun.
Sure. Well, anyway, you know who else is crazy?
Who?
Bobby Blotzer.
What?
Yes. There is more former Ratt news.
Is there?
Yes.
Was unaware that this was still a thing.
Yes. Bobby Blotzer says he will undergo spinal surgery and vows to continue playing with his version of Ratt.
Who's left?
Nobody. He lost the singer, right?
Yeah, the singer's out. Josh Allen, he's gone.
Yeah, so his version of Ratt.
So who's the new singer?
I don't know. So Bobby Blotzer will undergo lumbar spine surgery at the end of March.
Okay.
The original Ratt drummer, he's not the original Ratt drummer.
Well, you know, the original Ratt drummer for the records they're talking about.
Right. He's the Ratt drummer of the most popular lineup of Ratt.
Sure.
Revealed the news in his
Facebook.
How'd you know?
Just a guess.
Yeah. His Facebook post explaining that one of the spine's 5 inner vertebrae segments have collapsed, with another one soon to follow.
Probably the weight of false lawsuits holding him.
Probably. According to Blotzer, he has been getting epidural spine injections for 6 years and had a nerve burning procedure done, neither one of which has successfully ended his chronic back pain problems.
Well,
so
that's good.
Blotzer, who's had a spinal fusion surgery for this is way too technical to share with the fans.
Okay.
He's had spinal fusion surgery for the C6 and C7 vertebrae in his neck 4 years ago, and said he will undergo the knife 2 days after his version of Ratt performs at the Prairie Knights Casino and Resort in Fort Yates, North Dakota on March 18th.
Wow. So there's a Ratt gig.
Yeah.
Is he calling it Ratt?
I don't know. Blotzer did not disclose who will front his version of Ratt at the North Dakota concert, having recently parted ways with singer Josh Allen, who had been with the group since its late 2015 inception.
Right.
So who would he possibly get?
Doogie White? Hey, who's left out there?
I don't know. Well, who could do the Ratt material, justice by, fronting Bobby's fake Ratt?
Jizzy?
I don't think Jizzy would work with Bobby.
No, I don't think so either.
Because I know that I know when he left Ratt, when Steven came back, I think you were kind of pissed off because of the things that Bobby said about Jizzy, saying, Jizzy was good in a pinch, but we wanted to have someone who sounded more like Steven.
Yeah, I was very annoyed with that. It was like, okay, a pinch. It was fucking 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was a long pinch.
So I don't think Jizzy would do that.
What is the name of the club that they're playing?
They're playing at a place in North Dakota called the Knights Casino and Resort in Fort Yates, North Dakota.
I just want to see if it's billed as Ratt. Prairie Knights Casino and Resort?
That's the one.
All right, let's see. Let's go there.
March 18th.
Promos, Lodge. Maybe it's promos. I'm just looking. Oh, let's see. Free tournaments. Don't miss. They're calling it Ratt. They're saying don't miss Ratt and Firehouse. And it's a picture with Bobby and Josh Allen.
Okay. Wouldn't that be funny if Josh says you can't use my likeness?
That would be great.
Yeah.
See, now you should send Steven this link and get this shut down.
Oh, I'm sure Steven's well aware of it.
Yeah. I mean, they should shut this shit down, too.
I'm sure they will. I mean, it is over a month away, so.
Yeah.
Or just under a month.
What a jizz bucket this guy comes off as.
Sure.
Enough with this. Why doesn't he just call it the BB Ratt experience?
Because that doesn't get as much money as Ratt.
Instead, he's going to lose all his money.
Of course. I mean, we had that discussion, a few weeks ago about the trademark. And actually, when I was at NAMM back in January, I was part of a documentary that Bob is working on for Cleopatra Records. And one of the subject material in this documentary is about what is in the value of a trademark name.
Right.
And, I hung out with Nader, who, obviously he's out there working with the London name,
right.
But he's not the original London guy. I mean, Nikki Sixx was in that, and Steven Adler, and of course, Blackie Lawless was in that, and Lizzie Gray, and, a bunch of other people that were in that prior to Nader, being the singer. Mm-hmm. And now he's got control of the London name.
Right.
So it means something, when it comes to booking shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you think it means a whole lot to Nader?
Well, I'm not talking specifically about Nader. I'm just saying that Nader can advertise himself as London.
Right. Sure.
And Bobby, obviously knows the value of trying to book himself under the Ratt name, not Bobby Blotzer's Ratt Experience, because nobody's going to give a shit about that.
Right. So bad.
It is. The drummer also promised. Who's he promising?
The fans.
He would mop up the litigation he is currently embroiled in with his former bandmates over the rights to the Ratt name, and that he would return to the road with Ratt around late June.
Can't wait. I can't wait to see that not happen.
Yeah. I guess when a judge rules summary judgment in on behalf of the plaintiffs, I guess that means nothing.
Apparently not.
It means nothing.
Is he going to end up going to jail over this?
I don't know. I don't know if this can only be civil. This is not like a breaking a law type of thing.
Well, it would be if he's neglecting a court order.
I guess.
If there's a court order saying he can't do it and he does it anyway, that is a crime. That's not a infraction. That's a true crime.
Yeah, I guess.
If I started calling my place Chuck E. Cheese,
right,
and I got a cease and desist and I didn't, then it would be a crime. Yeah, right?
But can you be jailed over that?
I guess it would probably how long. It would probably come down to how long you kept doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd be fines for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could be sued and there would be fines and stuff, but can you go to jail for that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if you can go to jail for a civil
I'm not sure
thing. You know what I mean? If you're not going against, the state or the Fed or breaking some kind of law per se.
Well, if it was contempt of court, you could do jail time.
I guess you could.
And if there's a court order and you just ignore it, that would be contempt of court.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be the best.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh my God, would we have fun with that?
Of course. Blotzer has spent the last year and a half battling the other three members of Ratt's classic lineup in court. At the same time, he has been hitting the road with his version of Ratt, which, in addition to Alan, most recently included guitarist Mitch Perry, Stacey Blades, and Brad Lang.
Right. So Mitch is going to be the singer.
Well, can Mitch, sing Ratt songs?
Oh, it'll be like Van Halen singing Ratt.
Okay.
Mitch does a good Van Halen. I don't think Bobby cares at this point.
Yeah, I know. That's just dumb.
Yeah, the whole thing is dumb.
Oh my God, Blotzer is actually posting his X-rays on his Facebook. His x-rays of his vertebrae.
His neck?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hey, all, I got this MRI last week having some bad shite coming to the road's end on my back.
Oh.
A lot of people that have been in the shows last year and 2013 tours have noticed, or folks I've talked to have noticed me having some issues moving about.
Wow.
Not so much in the performance mode, too much adrenaline playing all the time, but just in general.
Okay.
I've been getting epidural and injections for 6 years, then went to sound frequency nerve burns. That's fun, I can tell you. None were working. Now it's surgery time. If you see in the picture above, now he's pointing out his x-rays.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, notice this vertebrae here. Notice where I'm pointing. He's got his finger pointing at this vertebrae.
Professor Blotz.
Exactly. If you see in this picture above, that's me old spine. That's me old spine.
Is it?
Lumbar number 5, as you can see, is collapsed. Number 1 is next.
Wow.
So after the next show on 3/18 in North Dakota, I'm in 2 days later. I'll spare you the details. Well, you didn't spare us any details here. You told us the whole story.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up. Same as I did basically in 2013 when I fused 6 and 7 cervical.
Okay.
Cervical?
So the cervix was swollen.
Yeah, cervical. Okay. 2 months, so we mop up litigation. I'll be back with Ratt. Around the middle of June. Thanks much, BB.
Well, you're welcome, BB.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Can't wait.
God.
What a douche.
I guess that means nothing.
No. I just can't fathom that he thinks he's going to win this thing.
Well, he lost already. I don't know what he means win. What's he going to win?
Who knows?
I mean, where do you go from there?
Appeals court, maybe?
Well, he already did that, and he got denied.
Oh, is he already past that?
Yes.
I didn't realize he was already past
that was the what do you want to call it? The decision that was handed down on the 10th of this month.
Okay.
So
I did not realize. I didn't realize that was an appeal. I thought that was
that was the judge ruling on the appeal.
Okay. Such a douche.
Right. Well, former Striper bassist Tim Gaines.
Mm-hmm.
He left the band for a while back, and when Striper had originally reconvened, was that like 2004?
Sure.
And he was in the reunited lineup, and then shortly after he left the lineup for a while.
Right.
And then he came back a couple of years ago, but now I guess he's back out again.
Okay.
I guess he's got some issues.
What's his issues?
Well, let's find out.
All right.
It's no secret that Striper bassist Timothy Gaines has been going through some personal issues, that is a divorce, which was made public by some of his Striper bandmates and with frontman Michael Sweet questioning Gaines' involvement with the band in the future.
Well,
Gaines has apparently had enough.
All right.
The following message was posted on one of Gaines'
Facebook
earlier today.
All right.
For the last year, I've been dealing with a life issue. Not good ones. But I suppose, according to the polls, at least 50% of America goes through. Since around August, when Striper suddenly felt the need to broadcast my personal problems to the public,
okay,
I've dealt with an onslaught of personal attacks, not only to myself, but also to my family.
Well,
and persons very close to me that I care about greatly, coming from the self-righteous right.
Oh, boy.
The words whore, groupie, gold digger are often accommodated by unsolicited personal attack messages, text, and emails.
But he's the one that married a hooker, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think and that's not me making a stand. I love hookers, but I mean, realistically, that's what he did, is he married a street chick.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. So of course they're going to call her a whore.
Right.
That's what she did. So what? I don't understand why he's upset about this, but okay. Why would you be upset about that? If your chick used to lean into cars, take a 20 and suck a guy off in a car, and people associate her with that career path, why would you be upset about that? That's what she did.
I think that was, you're supposed to forgive and forget and put that all behind you.
Oh, once you get married, that's not real anymore. Now it's what, a taboo because she's your wife?
I guess.
She sucked cock for a living. That was her living. I'm not saying she still does, but she's a former cocksucker.
Yeah.
Ollie still sucks cock, just yours.
Maybe.
You know, right?
Well, he is getting divorced. I mean, maybe he caught her back at the old trade again.
Yeah, maybe she's doing some side project or something.
Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't really have an apology to anyone for my actions, but your actions are unwarranted.
Yeah, man!
When people in the receiving end are contemplating suicide because of the bullying and verbal abuse, then you have crossed the line.
Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've crossed the line, pal.
You've crossed the line because you call her out for what she did, and she doesn't like to be called out for what she did? Is that what we're hearing here?
Well, he's saying that the receiving party is, talked about suicide.
Okay.
Because of the bullying.
Well, stop being such a puss about bullying.
Yeah. From now on, any post sent to me or my friends will be reposted here with a link to your page.
Wow.
My personal life is suddenly an open book, so now so is yours.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to expose you for who you are.
Ooh.
Get ready for some retribution, fuckies.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to smite thee. Wow.
You think he'll post this and link back to Classic Metal Show?
I don't know. I would like that.
I would like that too. That would be some good exposure.
Sure would. But I'm not casting aspersions. I don't know his wife. I don't know anybody. I don't know Tim at all.
Yeah. Have you ever met him?
No, I have never met him.
Yeah. I don't think I have either.
We've obviously talked to Michael Sweet on several occasions.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as knowing any of the guys in the band or anything, I mean, I got nothing against any of them. Don't really care.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever even seen Stryper since we've known those guys. I saw him once in a Black and Blue tour, or whatever that was called, a Black Sabbath and Stryper tour.
Sure.
That was in like the 80s or
right.
whatever.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever met those guys either, so I don't know them.
Yeah. But nevertheless, that's what's going on in the music news.
Wow.
some hateful shit.
I guess. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Tim Gaines would be a source of hate news?
Yeah.
Guy from Stryper.
Well, here's what I find interesting and funny, and I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
That through your lifetime and through my lifetime,
mm-hmm.
the bands and the staples and the music and the artists and things that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that we're both, in our 50s? You're, close to 50 and I'm past 50, but regardless, isn't it funny that as a child, think back, as a child, you listened to whatever, whatever your parents were listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And you were listening to it, and the people who you were listening to were adults, and they were performers and artists and bands and things. Right. Isn't it weird that at 50 years old, you can still see those exact same artists that you were listening to as a child?
I know, it is kind of nuts.
Isn't that weird?
It really is. It's crazy how it just hasn't changed that much. And what's even more, the new bands that have come since rarely last. You know, if you think about it, there are more bands from our childhood still playing than there are bands from like our adult life that still playing.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely more 80s classic metal or just 80s bands, because I'll count all of that shit, the Nugents and the Mellencamp's and 70s, 80s bands.
Mm-hmm.
There's more of those bands playing than there are bands that came up in the 90s and 2000s.
Right.
And there were far more of those bands in the 90s and 2000s. But they just came up, did an album or two, and left.
Yeah.
Went and got a job.
Yeah, it's weird, though, because I sit there and think about it. I mean, obviously, you know, Black Sabbath has wrapped up their tour.
Right.
But, you know, people like Ozzy and Tony Iommi, they're going to continue on performing in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But you got to think about this. Black Sabbath was performing in the late 60s.
Right.
Okay, and we were just toddlers.
Right.
And they were still playing now that we're 50.
Well, Black Sabbath, they formed in what, 68?
Yeah, I think so. 68.
I was born in 68.
Yeah, so there you go.
They've been a staple my entire life.
Yeah, and then me growing up, you know, of course, you know, it's no secret that I've always liked the band Chicago. Well, they were playing on the radio when I was just a child.
Right.
And they're still out there playing. And I'm 53.
Yep, and you're still going.
And it's just weird. You know, and then, of course, I went to college over 30 years ago, and the bands that I discovered while I was in college, they're still playing.
Right.
You know, be it the Queensryches or the Ratts or the Motley Crues. Well, not so much Motley Crue, but, you know, a lot of those bands, and they're still playing.
Sure.
So it's like the soundtrack of my life hasn't changed, and no matter how old I get, it's still there.
And it won't anyway. Even when those bands all retire, you'll just you'll take yourself into your DVDs and your CDs.
Sure.
You'll never be like, you know what? I need to find a new band on Spotify.
Right.
I got to think, you've had Spotify now, what, 3 years?
Yeah, about that.
Have you ever once used the Discovery Now option?
Can't say that I have. Got to be honest with you, I haven't.
That's it. You're one of those guys, and you're not alone. You're definitely not alone in that. Most, I don't think. Do you think that even kids today do that? Do you think they try to discover new shit?
I think that a lot of the kids find new shit like on YouTube as a suggestion. You know, like the YouTube automatically makes a suggestion. Mm-hmm. So if they discover anything new, I think it's just because, you know, one of those random cookies said, well, if you listen to that, you probably like that.
It's not like us in the day where you'd be in your buddy's car or something and something would be playing. You'd be like, oh, what is that? And they'd be like, oh, that's a new band.
Yeah.
It's Priest.
Sure.
You know, no, it was definitely different. And we had much more loyalty too.
Well, the thing is that our choices were limited.
Right.
Because the majority of what we discovered it on commercial radio.
Right, sure.
And we don't discover new stuff on commercial radio anymore.
God, could you imagine the people that still do, though? What kind of horrible collection of music they would have.
Well, yeah. So, but what I'm saying is that because we didn't realize there was such a vast number of available artists out there that the internet and Spotify and YouTube has given us a chance to. Now it's overload. There's no way you could weed through that many.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. It's you can't. I mean, dude, I can't listen to. As somebody that gets it sent to me free every week, and somebody that works at home that can listen to them probably more than most, I don't even download, I would say 75% of what I get.
Sure. I
look at it and I do a quick scan of, you know, there's a link that says RIYL, which don't ask me what that means, but it's related to somehow is basically what they're saying. Like, if you like this, you'll like this.
Okay.
And if it isn't bands that I like, not download. Don't even bother.
Sure.
You know, I'm like, don't even want to explore something new. just delete. Won't even download it for free. Will not even download it for free.
Right.
And that is a difference in today's world, is there's so much shit. And when I say shit, I truly mean shit.
Right.
Because most of it is garbage.
Right.
But yeah, different world. These kids are never going to experience some of the good times that we had with our music. That's for sure.
Sure. Well, one of our favorite singers, artists, John Bush.
Mm-hmm.
John Bush has once again admitted that he thought about the idea of embarking on a special tour during which he would perform material from his time as the singer of Anthrax.
I'm there. Well, you'd go to that one.
Of course, because I like the Bush era.
Yeah, that's a great era.
I was a big fan of Armored Saint, and I'm glad they're back doing their thing. But, when Bush joined Anthrax, that's when I started really paying attention to Anthrax. I mean, I know that they were popular way before Bush joined, but I wasn't into them. But when Bush joined, I dug them.
Yeah, I mean, I love Anthrax, one of my favorites of all time. But I love the Bush era, man. To go and see him playing, Sound of White Noise or Stomp or Volume 8, any of those records, We've Come For You All. I'm all in for that, man. That would be great.
Sure.
Oh, I don't even care who the band is, really. As long as they sound heavy, I'd be all for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Bush fronted Anthrax between 92 and 2005, but was sidelined when Anthrax reunited with Joey Belladonna for the 20th anniversary tour. When that collapsed and the relationships disintegrated with the next frontman, Dan Nelson, Bush returned for a time before Belladonna took his job back in 2010. During an appearance on the January 20th episode of The Rock Show with Golly and Joe.
Golly and Joe.
Gully.
Golly and Joe, huh? All right.
The Rock Show.
Not familiar, but I'll give it a look.
All right. Bush was asked if he would be open to the idea of going out and playing some of the Bush-era Anthrax songs live again with a new band or with some of the former bandmates in Anthrax.
Okay.
He responded, I've thought about it. It's not something that is in any motion to happen. Somehow, some way, it would be cool to sing those songs.
So, in other words, not going to happen.
Well, I mean, any time that there's, I'm sure if there's somebody came up and said, "Hey, John, I'll throw you X amount of dollars and sponsor your tour or whatever."
Yeah,
he would probably consider it if it was lucrative enough to make it worth his while.
Look, the guy has trouble with his because doesn't he make like a shit ton of money doing voice work?
Yeah, he does voiceovers.
Yeah, so he has trouble getting away for a month to do Armored Saint. There's no way is he going to go out and do that. There's just no way.
Well, like I said, if it was lucrative enough for him to make it worth his while, I don't see why he wouldn't do it, but the chances of that happening are probably not very good.
Maybe some fly out dates. That'd probably be about the only way you'd see that, like on a weekend or something.
Right.
But hey, if he does, I'm there.
Sure.
That's one I would travel. Would you travel to see it?
I'd go within a 200-mile radius.
So you'd come to Cleveland to see it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the records I made with Anthrax, and I think that there's some great tunes there, and they're just kind of in a limbo state, which is okay, One day, somehow, some way, it would be cool.
Yeah. I think they're in such a limbo. I'm going to look right now. Sound of White. I thought, no, they are. Okay, I'm wrong. I thought that I had read somewhere that they were not on like all the streaming sites, the Bush era stuff. But at least Sound of White Noise is.
Yeah.
And Stomp is too.
Sure.
Some of them are and some of them are not. Because here's Stomp and Sound of White Noise, but I don't see the other ones.
Mm-hmm. We've Come For You All.
Yeah, We've Come For You All and
The Threat.
Volume 8.
Yeah.
Those are not out here. So, okay.
And I've always said it's just kind of weird, where the Bush era is concerned for me personally. I like the bookend disc the best.
Oh,
I like the Sound of White Noise, and I like We've Come For You All.
Yeah,
I like the other ones too, but those are my two favorite.
Yeah, I liked all of it. There's like one song out of all of them I didn't like, which was that stupid Cup of Joe song. That was a fucking dumb song on Volume 8. But yeah, dude, I'm a John Bush fan. I don't care what he sings in. I'll support it.
Sure.
Maybe he could be in the Blotz era of Ratt.
No.
You think he'd do some round and round?
No, I don't think so. No, he's a unique guy on his own. You know, he definitely is not a copycat guy. He doesn't resemble anybody. He doesn't sound like another guy. He's got his own, you know, he's very unique.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going, that's for sure.
Sure. So, yeah, I like John. I mean, I enjoyed watching Anthrax twice last year, or once. Sure. Was it? Twice last year. I saw him back in December, and I saw him in June.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And both shows were just great.
Yeah, he's great. Fun guy to actually talk to, too. He's a nice dude.
Sure. So
remember he did the interview with us sitting on his porch?
Yeah.
And he was like half interviewing with us and half yelling at his kids.
Yeah, watching his kids. He had to get outside the house, you know, so he could talk to us because there was too much commotion going on inside the house.
Right.
Yeah. That was during his promotion for La Raza.
Right. Yep.
So
he's a good dude. I like that guy.
Yeah, and even at that point, he was just like, you know, we'll record if we ever feel like it, but you know, this La Raza, it might be the last one we do, but then you never know.
Yeah, and then they've done what, 1-2 more since?
Just the one.
Well, and then the live one, but yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, you know, we might tour, but then again, we might not tour at all.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, yeah, whatever happens, it's got to make sense, and you know, I believe that.
They're an interesting band because they're a band that could be bigger, but you got Bush, who just doesn't kind of seem to want to do it all full time. And then you got Joey Vera that's in so many bands full time that he can't commit to doing it full time. You know, it's an interesting. I feel bad for the other guys that probably just wish that they could do it full time.
Right.
You know, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to be happening.
Yeah. Well, I dug that Win Hands Down a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
That was just such a solid, classic Armored Saint disc.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those guys are solid, just underrated, just so underrated. Good band. I'm glad that they do get out there and they are playing and that they do still record and they sound great.
Sure.
And, you know, it's just too bad that they, as you said, they could be so much bigger.
Yep. Because they've got all the elements. Musically, they're great. They've got sort of the Metallica tie-in. Now they've got the Anthrax tie-in. You know, that's a lot of shit that they could use to really push them, and it just never seemed to happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just never took off for whatever reason. Kind of, I don't know. They're one of those bands that just seem like they should have been bigger, but just never, for whatever reason, never got there.
Yep. Just missed it by that much.
Yeah, by that much.
Right. All right, very cool.